Hello everyone, welcome to the OSHA training video about walking and working surfaces at the workplace. The training will cover 4 major points related to topic under consideration. Firstly, I would briefly explain the scope of the training, elaborating the types of surfaces that are included, followed by the statistics related to the subpart D. Thirdly, I would explain some recent amendments made in the codes. And finally, I would elaborate some general and training requirements that are mandatory to be followed. Now, the most important point is what type of structures are included. These regulations not only cover the horizontal surfaces like walkways, but also cover the vertical surfaces like ladder, rope descent system, residential roofs, and scaffolds. Regulation exists for how they should be anchored and sport requirements and component usage. OSHA updated Subpart D on November 18, 2016. Failure to follow these regulations would lead to monetary fine and could also include imprisonment. These federal regulations were updated for many reasons, including the advancement in technology, practices in the industry, improved consistencies within the OSHA construction standards. These regulations are much like other standards in that they were put in place to help save lives, protect people from injuries, and protect businesses by ensuring that all businesses follow the same practices that have been agreed upon by many experts in the field. Although some people do not believe slips and trips are too concerning, some of these events could cause long-term medical issues or even death. If the person who slips or trips has a pre-existing medical condition, this could cause them to tear ligaments in their knees or cause disc issues in their backs, which could cause weeks to years worth of medical concerns. The bigger concern is fall, as they can cause fatalities, especially if they are from a height. According to statistics, 15% of all accidents are slips, trips, and falls. 25,000 slips, trips, and falls incidents occur daily in US, costing employees around $40,000. The major cause includes slippery surfaces, rain, sleet, snow, inadequate lighting, uneven floors, inadequate railings, and poorly designed paths for traffic. As part of 29 CFR 1910.22 general requirements, employer must ensure that the surface conditions are clean, orderly, and are sanitary. These floor surfaces must also be clean, dry if feasible, and if wet, it must offer false floor, platforms, or mat to limit the risk of slips, trips, and falls while walking on the wet surfaces. These surfaces must also be free from hazards like boards, objects, corrosion, leaks, spills, snow, and ice. These regulations apply to all surfaces where employee will travel, including less traveled areas like egress and access paths. These surfaces must be inspected, maintained, and repaired by the employer to ensure that they are safe to be on and that hazardous conditions are corrected immediately or be guarded until the repair or correction is completed to prevent any injuries to the employees. The training requirements state that the employer should ensure that each employee is being trained by a qualified person. They should be trained in the nature of fall hazards, how to recognize fall hazard, procedures to be followed to minimize those hazards, correct procedures for installing, inspecting, operating, maintaining, and assembling the personal fall protection system, and their correct usage. I would like to conclude this training video by answering a common question that people ask. The question is, how high is deadly? I would like to quote an example of workplace where ladder was being used and it was mandatory for the employees to take the ladder training, which included a written test and hands-on test. However, some of the person believe that 4 feet is not enough to worry about, but an employee who worked for the company was climbing a step ladder in the winter season and fell from approximately 4.5 feet. This individual fell onto a bucket that was frozen, and because of the injuries involved with the fall, this person passed away at spot. Once I tell people of this story, they begin to understand that all falls have the potential for death. This type of training is critical for the employees to keep themselves and others around them to be safe. This concludes the training video, and here are some of the credits. Thank you very much for your attention and time.